Okay, so this is our latest world record run. We have Remmilicious over here. You want to say hi?
Hello, I'm on the left.
He's on the left. I'm Johnny Hamcobbler. That's not my real name, but that's my name right now. And I'm on the right by process of elimination. We're gonna do
I wonder
some
how many
Splinter.
people we talk to actually think your name is Johnny.
Yeah, I wonder, because that's a perfectly reasonable name. Hamcobbler is
Part's a
not.
little off. Little off. But that's okay. I wouldn't judge.
What is this, Hanson? We're cleaning up trash for the Ruskies now?
No, you're not cleaning up trash.
So we have this nice little intro scene of why the Americans and Russians are working together. Timer starts on first input.
Yeah, 30 seconds. 30 seconds of plot.
Yep.
There are actual cutscenes in the 360 version.
Yeah. I mean, they're in the PC version. It's just not against the rules to disable videos. So everyone does that.
It's a cutscenes you think are. It's a bunch. They're kind of long.
Yeah. I mean, there's some significant plot. This is a Tom Clancy-ish game.
Splinter Cell light.
Right. There's a fair amount of plot they try to get in. So this first part's not really too scary. We just kind of do a lot of running through, and the enemies don't take a lot of bullets to kill in the early levels. That starts to scale as we go on. We have 4 levels total here, and they're gonna be pretty easy for this first one.
You get pretty scary later on. They also get more likely to grab you, which is just a huge time loss.
Right. Something that does not happen in single player at all, because there's no one to rescue you if you're grabbed in single player.
They still do shoot in the single player, though.
Yeah,
Should
they
point
do
that out.
shoot guns at you, which is kind of scary.
Not as scary as grabbing you.
No, grabbing is actually the worst thing that can happen to a person. So we've kind of identified key places where we can throw mines. These remote mines really do a lot of the work for us.
They're basically just large frag grenades that you can choose when to detonate. They're very broken.
Yes, they have a very large blast radius, so they can take out... You'll see me throw one right here that's gonna just wreck about 8 guys.
Half a dozen guys?
Yeah, a lot of guys.
I don't think I've ever actually counted. What you're also going to notice a lot is we use a lot of EMPs.
Yeah.
Because they basically stun everybody within, like... They're very, very useful.
Yeah, not only
But
do they turn off all the
sometimes,
lights, but they stun enemies. So.
Throwing an EMP.
Sometimes enemies don't like to be stunned for long, though. I think it's if you...
Not super nice about that.
Yeah. If you get up in their grill,
So there's
they'll
basically
unstun.
4 gadgets we ever use. Yeah. There's portable EMPs and remote mines, which we're always using. And we switch between EMP grenades and proximity mines depending on the level.
Yeah.
You'll see the proxy mines start in level 2.
Yeah.
The first built-in donation time that the game gives for you.
For sure, yeah. There are a couple of these interrogation scenes in the single player and in the co-op, where they want you to do these interactable things, like smash them into a refrigerator or a piano or something. But that's kind of slow. Plays a nice slow animation. So we do
Yeah,
it the
so if you
boring way.
just stand next to nothing, you just kind of sock them in the face a couple times and then they give up.
Yeah. They go from having very strong Splinter Cell convictions to doing whatever you need them to do, such as open a door for you, which I think is pretty much all you ever need them to do. Or tell you things. Those 2 things.
One of them tells you things, 2 of them open doors. That's about it.
One of them...
So I
takes
basically
a
I
phone
just
call.
use these times to doodle on the wall or
To your credit, you're very good at doodling on the wall now. I'm very impressed because
I've had a lot of practice. I've probably had more time writing AGDQ on the door than I've had playing the entire back half of the game.
that's probably true. I mean, I don't know how many times we've played through Mazdoc, but we've definitely failed a lot of runs on just Embassy, the
On your
second
Streb,
level.
yeah.
Or yeah, Streb if we
Streb
get so
especially.
far.
That is
Yeah.
level 3. And you'll see why it's
Yeah,
where we
we'll
tend
get
to
to
lose.
that in a bit.
This is one of a couple areas where we split up really briefly.
Yeah.
One
kinda-
person does one objective and the other person clears some stuff out, basically.
Yeah. You know.
We can split up, we do, but it's really not even a good idea most of the time. The levels are really linear, so it's not even a
It's not
factor.
largely beneficial, yeah. Just when there's, simple objectives like pick up a piece of paper. I go do that while he
In
kills
this
a lot
case, a
of guys.
Rolodex.
Yeah. I got stuck on a guy here. Another thing they do, besides grabbing you, is pushing. They'll just shove you, and you're just kind of stunned. Whatever animation you were doing, it's gone. It's done. So I got a little bit behind, but not so far. I didn't get to the door on time. They have these dual
You
points.
see one of those dual breach doors, you're going to see us mark the guys on the other side.
Yeah.
The mark and execute feature is basically just your auto kill button when you need it.
Yeah. The one
You
thing
previously
being,
made a
it's not super fast, but it does alleviate you, it alleviates the responsibility of having to aim at people. So that's a pretty good
And
trade-off.
especially when we have to set up the dual breach doors, you have to sit there and wait anyway, so one of us can just look through the door with the goggles and mark any enemies.
Yeah, the goggles are new to this iteration of the game, the sonar goggles that see super far through walls. The thermal goggles from the previous games kind of let you see just through the door and bash enemies on the other side, but these things are really stupid and broken for that purpose. at
Downside
least.
to them is that they don't work when you're moving, basically.
Right. We only
So
really
you won't
use
see
them.
us use them a whole lot.
Yeah, it's really just at the door breaches. That was our second interview in 6 minutes, so
Brief though, thankfully.
yeah. It kind of describes this game, though. It's you run from interrogation to interrogation. And here we just EMP our way through with a variety of grenades and portable EMPs, which just detonate immediately in a large radius. So yeah, I'm just spamming them here, and we just get to this elevator, and that's the end of the first mission.
We come in about 7 minutes, a little less.
Yeah.
The briefest level.
Right, it's a pretty easy one. We don't screw it up a lot. Occasionally we have a really bad night and can't get through a good banya. But this part is one of a couple parts in the game where you are required to be stealthy. And stealthy in this game is
Which
very
is
relative.
just the game playing it part of Splinter Cell, really.
Right,
It'll be a Splinter Cell game.
it does pretend very hard. Now, a lot of guard RNG happens. Where I am right now on the right, where we're climbing up, sometimes there's a guard. So if there's a guard there, we have to go alternate ways. But thankfully, we got good RNG in this one, and we're able to just run through, basically, and EMP our way to...
I'd say we get the good RNG probably 60 to 70% of the time.
It's true.
Usually that we get up there. Once in a while, there's a guard there.
Yeah, definitely slanted in our favor, but really miserable when it isn't, I guess.
We used to use a gadget specifically to distract these guys so we could run past.
Yeah.
And then we discovered that the dialogue that we have to wait for coming up here was playing in the background anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, and here's an
it
example
all.
of actions being way too easy to accidentally perform. I accidentally picked up the gun of that guy had just dropped. Thankfully, we have this long donation built-in period, so I was able to just switch it out and then go throw mines right in front of their faces. They're none the wiser. Things are gonna go down.
Yeah, basically as soon as we're allowed to kill people again, hates them.
Yeah, there's...
And meanwhile, I do my second drawing on the wall segment. Right, I switched to 2K instead of 20 in this run.
Oh,
It does turn out a little better.
bit of a time save, I imagine. Good strats.
Well, it's I don't have to make round things as much. Maybe I should
yeah.
switch to like digital style numbering, like the 7-segment style. We'll have to refine that one.
Yeah, for sure.
This 8 does not turn out real well. You can still say it says 2K18, but it's just barely there.
Archer.
Bykov's deal just went seriously off the
Yeah,
rails.
so we go from stealth, don't blow stealth to 3 explosions.
Explode everybody in the room.
Yeah. Another thing that I used
why
to
not?
use, the sticky camera that he was alluding to earlier. We used it for distraction, but I also used it to hold out in the security room here. But thanks to the efforts of Antonio and Antonio's brother or sister, I'm not sure whom, their partner, with whom we've
We don't know his
competed.
partner, yeah.
Yeah, they're not in the Discord or anything. We've learned that if you both activate a hack at the same time, it goes doubly fast. So we're able to actually hack this before any enemies come up to shoot us. So
Which
it made it
also
completely
causes
obsolete.
2 dialogues to play at the same time in a minute, which is very fun.
Yes, it's all very broken. Yeah.
Not as bad as Blacklist, though.
We're not going to talk about Blacklist. Oh boy. Alright, so hack is over. We can use the EMPs again. And just book it.
Listen up. We've got the embassy.
There's one other hacking section later in the game, and in that section you can't use EMPs because they'll stop the hack for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
which makes that section by far the most difficult in the game.
Yeah. It would be easier. Well, we'll get to it in more detail later, but suffice
Oh,
to
I
say...
forgot about this part where he's just choking me without the animation there.
Yeah,
He was just holding his gun up to me and I was stunned.
that does happen once in a blue moon. The game just decides you've been grabbed, and it won't show you you've been grabbed. It'll just do it like that. This guy never is here, so usually I'd run ahead and change my my EMP grenades to proxy mines before he's done doing a thing there. But this time, he kind of had to wait on me, because that guy just popped out of nowhere. Why not? Always a fun surprise.
This is another section where you can kind of just run past the guys and stun them until you get to the door.
Right. We very rarely engage
You'll
anyone in
reach
that room.
door, nobody bothers you. So you just come up and mark these guys here.
Yeah, there's a guy in the distance who's
Interrogation.
pretty hard. You can kind of blind mark him though. And we both execute. And he's got to interrogate this guy. They're just gonna hang out.
It's over, Bykov. You're done. Understand?
So yeah, this is another.
Unfortunately, if
interrogation.
you shoot the wall in this area,
Neither do you, Colonel.
the guys behind the door that we're going through next part will start aggroing faster.
Oh yeah.
They get in the way. So
They'll
you
start-
can't doodle on the wall in this part.
They'll phase through the wall too and see you, so it's great. They won't fully come
Couple
through,
times
but they
where, like-
will. You'll get them detected. It's awful.
Just kind of stick your arms out at you.
I'm just rolling around. That's apparently how I
Yeah,
chose
not
to
much
spend
else
this
for you to
time.
do at this point. He's nice and quick though, only 2 interrogations instead of Sergey is 3, right? And
Yeah, I think so.
Ko is also 2.
Archer, Kestrel, we secured the intel we need to identify the network and possibly to locate those WMDs.
So there's some more plot.
I need you to clear the area before external
Not
security
a whole lot.
forces arrive. Aviation assets are on orbit just beyond the embassy.
Yeah,
perimeter.
basically just telling you
Moving the roof for
to go get
extraction.
your
Roger
helicopter.
that, Hanson. We're on our way. God damn it. Kestrel, we've got movement.
So they're, I do an EMP, then I open the door, then I EMP again, because there are like 3 or 4 guys on the other side. And if you don't EMP, there's a good chance you're going to get grabbed. And it's very hard for the second person going through to help you. Just because of awkward positioning.
On the roof. The Russians may have laid laser-triggered mines up there.
Sometimes that guy likes to stand over the rail and make life very difficult. Thankfully, he was pretty chill that time.
Basically, whenever we have the opportunity, we'll be EMPing and running past guys.
Yeah.
A lot of
Sometimes
guys
it's
that
easier
just
to
kind of
kill.
hang out in your path, so it's faster to just take some pot shots at them.
Yeah. And we're both using the FAMAS, I don't know. It's a French assault rifle. That's all I know.
I use the AK at the beginning of the game because I find that it's easy to use while running, but the FAMAS has a nice scope, so...
Yeah, it also has a lot of stopping power, which is what I like. It comes in, it's very, very handy during the very difficult section later.
Secure the LZ and stand by.
And at this section, too, you can just kind of pick off guys before they get close to us.
Yeah. I had a little bit of
Times
trouble
around the
this,
railings, and
this particular
yeah,
run.
same too. I got hit by one guy just sniped me and took me down to no health there. Guys will pop up on this side over here where my screen on the left is.
1 minute to extraction.
Just kind of keep throwing proxy mines there and
Yeah.
swing through.
There are also explosive barrels in a couple places. I shot one to kill a guy, and instead of trying to hit him, it's a little easier. But I can mostly just coat their spawn. Like, it's a little choke point I can just throw mines at and shoot at. Works pretty well. He's also over there marking guys who are eventually going to run around. So,
30 seconds to
it's very convenient. Took us embarrassingly long to figure out this pattern.
Yeah, we
Where
used
we
to
should
sit
stand.
separate on each side, and
It was dumb. I nearly got killed so many runs, you know? And this is so much easier.
a couple times we did get knocked down, but
Yeah.
we're on a strict timer here, so it doesn't matter that much if you do get knocked down.
Right. This guy surprised me. He came up, I guess he was looking the other way. And I just panicked and could not shoot him. Is our extraction another awkward... You have to wait until extract pops up, or you'll just jump over the rail. If you get too eager, you're
And
going to
there's
do
a-
something dumb.
There's a few sections of the game where you'll have to wait until a dialogue pops up, or you'll do the wrong action.
Yeah. Particularly with EMPs.
That's a nice, easy way to lose 5 seconds right there.
Right. The worst is when you pick up a weapon by accident.
According to SPR
That's the worst
blueprints,
thing.
the only way into the complex is through the outer
Especially
wall
if you don't
adjoining
realize
pistol
you've done it
service.
until,
You'll need to breach
you
with
know,
explosive charges and
a
make
minute
your
or
way
so
inside.
later.
Questions?
Yeah.
So this is our 3rd level.
Agent
This
Harris
is,
was reassigned for security reasons.
Arguably the most difficult level. Section, I should say.
It has the
I
most
suppose
difficult
Mozdok is
section.
more frustrating in parts.
Second charge.
Yeah, I would say Mozdok is harder overall just because it's kind of broken.
Looks good. Let's move. God damn.
Well, not kind
But
of
the
broken.
I jumped over a railing here by accident. Forgot about that part.
Oh yeah, you got a little bit behind. So I just kind of...
Yeah, and then I think I get grabbed up here too.
These guys, if you go too fast, you'll get there, and then they'll spawn, like ghosts. So
It sounds like Astrop security
that's great
forces
when that
have
happens.
blasted caused by
Sometimes
the
they'll just insta-grab you.
One of
Some time to reach your first objective.
place we ever watch enemies spawn in this game too. Usually the game handles it off screen and it's all fine, but
Yeah.
once in a while.
Right.
We're on the way.
Got grabbed, but got sent
That's
real
one of
quick.
those guys, you saw that I used the EMP there and it's too late, so he grabbed me.
Yeah.
We
it's
use a third-party program to emulate a LAN. We use Tungle. So,
Yeah, it's worth mentioning.
always wonderful.
We don't play this locally. Now, he mined those guys, and I got knocked down because there's actually a fire hydrant there. Not a fire hydrant, a fire extinguisher.
Extinguisher.
Yeah, an extinguisher there that if those get shot or blown up, there's a delayed reaction, and then they can knock people down, you included. So, cost a couple seconds, but nothing.
This is
too
a
major.
another of our forced interrogations.
Yep.
No doodling on the wall at this part. He just blows up the lights instead.
Yeah.
Well, if you had anything interesting to write.
I don't think I'd have time. I also set up, because I'm in position, I threw some mines down because there are going to be some guys coming through that door I'm now scoping at. And I lay them down to the right because that's where they'd run down and try to stop us. So I'm going to try to kill as many as I can from there, but any who get through get mined, basically.
Yeah, generally speaking. You can't use gadgets during an interrogation either, so he has to
Yeah.
set as many mines as he can before I get to Redfield.
Yeah, I always get at least 3, and sometimes I'll get a 4th, but it's rarely necessary anyway. I throw a mine there because sometimes I do not line this up. Oh, yeah, I had to hear.
Fun, you didn't.
This is fun. This is good to demonstrate. So, as soon as chokehold pops up after that, if I mine, he doesn't get hurt. It just kills the guy. He just gets knocked down briefly, but it's a little faster than sticking around, having him hit the guy to distract him, and then me shoot him. And this time I can,
Yeah, so if Johnny isn't
replenish
lined
my
up
stuff,
properly.
which I totally wasn't, because he got there way faster than I realized he was.
So this is the very difficult part we were mentioning.
Yeah, so
You're gonna see us throw a lot of mines.
and shoot lights out, and I try to mark as many guys headed over to him as I can, because he usually gets swamped, as you'll see. Watch yours a little bit, actually.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is you have to stay right on top of the hack point,
Yeah,
because otherwise you'll see my bars drop on my hacking progress, and it makes the hack go slower.
yeah. And we've done these
I
together
do
using
get
that
knocked down
glitch.
here, don't I?
We've done the glitch that makes it go double fast here, but we found that doing all 4 together actually takes about 30-40 seconds longer. So we've settled on just going for it. And actually, up until recently,
Yeah,
you weren't using proxy mines, so that was a big improvement, I think, for you got
Yeah,
nailed.
right here, just this guy gets behind the pillar, and I can't hit him
Yeah,
through the door, and I get shut down.
yeah.
So the thing is, when you start a hack, it gets rid of all of the marks you have on guys, and it resets you to having your pistol out. I don't know why.
Yeah, every interaction seems to do that.
Didn't switch to my automatic and was trying to shoot the guy behind the pillar with the pistol,
Yeah,
and I failed.
yeah. It's a lot to remember all at once. His body is still on the hack, and he has like 30 seconds. So I finished my hack, and I actually should have gone over sooner. I tried to kill this guy, but I could have saved a second or two if I had run over here.
Now you need to
Yeah, so we probably lose actually about
They're probably being stored in the special
way 20 maybe.
on the other end of the intelligence archive. Locate the kits
Yeah,
and fry
it's-
their CPUs with an EM
But
burst.
that's the difficult section because the guard RNG is everything there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get a lot of guys on one side and none on the other. Sometimes they'll split evenly, which is the dream.
The run prior to this one, I actually got hammered. I barely survived, and then the rest of the game I was terrible, so that's how it goes.
I think we ended up being about 40 seconds slower that run.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
But it wasn't all you.
It's sometimes the game is just the RNG is really rough, and we do our best.
Sometimes it might be lag with our connection because we've, again, never actually played in person. Stayed in, when was the last time you lived here? 2010?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was going home every summer from college.
Yeah, I mean,
but
like, you were there in the
graduated
summer
4
for-
years ago, so
We're picking up flash traffic from the general's original.
it's been a bit. I live in New York, so
We
I'm
need to get out of there right now. There's There's a
nowhere
maintenance
near
shaft
him.
next to the special collection vault.
But we've, you know, figured out this semi-reliable way of playing together, and
Sometimes we'll have a night where our connection is just real bad. I'm curious to see if we were to play it at GDQ, if it would be significantly better, or if the lag is not as much of an issue as we think.
yeah, I don't know. For this run and the previous one, the lag was definitely lower than usual. So if we get
Yeah.
a sub 7 Banya, I usually think, you know, I take that as okay, we did okay on our connection.
The only person in general is worried about this
We just kind of rush through here, EMPing, you know, killing a couple guys as needed, but mostly trying to just, you know, like any speedrun, try to get from A to B.
So this is the only real boss in the game.
Well, in co-op, yeah.
Our general friend is in the turret behind me.
Sweet.
Couple switches that move a box over the turret that you can drop onto the turret.
Forgot you got choked here.
I get grabbed here, but he can see me from across the way, so it's not as huge a deal.
And he was marked already,
He
so
does
that's
these
very convenient.
executes,
Just hurry the hell up.
Yeah.
So you can see the turret over there, and the box is moving into place after we hit the 2 buttons. You just have to wait for the box to move into place, take out guards as they come. This is another situation where having 8 mines is extremely useful.
Yes.
And thankfully, the is not affected by EMPs, so we can use that too.
Just blew myself up. Alright, we dropped that. That thing's gone. We get to bogey.
He won't be the only one if we don't get the hell out of here.
Yep.
Just a quick, the only buddy jump in the game.
Right.
This was a
Right beside you, Chief.
move in previous Splinter Cell games, and I guess they just forgot that it was supposed to be in Splinter Cell games, and decided to just kind of
They didn't care.
leave it there.
Conviction was not a game about caring about previous Splinter Cell things.
Once you've taken out the
So-
comms hub
Yeah.
on the other side of the vehicle,
It's a little bit different.
proceed immediately to the
It's
cargo
pretty
hangar
different.
and
I
load
mean,
you with
this is
Redefined to
this
be
is
no longer
closer.
about
By
stealth.
then, they should have loaded the
This is
warhead.
closer to classic Splinter Cell than the main game is, let me tell you. There's no parts I can think of where you have to be stealthy
One
The
alarm.
mission goes
in the main.
south.
I just
vehicle
goofed up. This is a stealthy section, so we have a very particular.
How to kill
Route.
guys in this section. So we shoot the light, which means we have our mark and execute back. Should note that every time you either player melees someone, you both get.
Yeah, you get a mark and
That's
execute.
So it's very useful because he melees one guy and then he can mark and execute the 2 on the lower floor, and I can mark and execute the guy on the upper floor.
Yeah,
We don't have to bother aiming for this part.
right. Which is pretty good considering we just need to get up, and once we're at this point, stealth is blown. Like, you set up an EMP in a building, you know.
Somebody will figure something out, yeah.
Yeah.
This is COVID. Does somebody want to tell me what the fuck is going on?
You're not supposed to be on this channel,
This is another part where we just kind of EMP our way through.
Oh yeah. This
I
rarely
almost
happens.
never
but-
die at this part.
Yeah.
It just, that guy, I guess, wasn't stunned, or
Yeah. Well, this is the enemy's difficulty scales pretty dramatically, where they soak up a lot of bullets and they can headshot you.
suddenly very good shots, too.
Yeah.
This is Archer. Cast your light.
So in this level, we try to avoid combat in as many places as we can, but there's a couple places where there are just a lot of guys that you have to deal with.
Yeah. And I messed up my mine here, but it ultimately didn't matter because they could not shoot us. He grabbed him, I jumped down and killed him.
Yeah,
It
you
was a
just
very
drop
silly
on
scene.
him, yeah. This section, there's a lot of turrets that you have to avoid. The easiest way to do that is to just EMP.
Yeah.
Here I threw a proxy mine that didn't hit anybody, so I had to throw a second one.
Yep. These boxes are replenishing our gadgets and health, by the way. In the first mission, we tried not to,
Health replenishes pretty quickly anyway, but
yeah. We,
minimize the number of times we use the boxes, but we use so many gadgets in both this level and the previous one that I think we hit almost all of them in the last 2 levels.
Definitely, yeah. I have a couple, like, I skip almost all of them in Banya and a couple in Embassy, but here, no.
Yeah.
We need all the EMPs and most of the mines, but definitely all the EMPs. Because at this point, we're both
Another one of those
packing
few
mines.
split up sections. Because he gets to activate a rail that's or he gets to discharge an EMP, and then I activate the rail that.
And I tried to EMP before going up to this guy, and it just did not work. So I had to improvise. Meanwhile, he's climbed up. He's got a couple of points where enemies are going to rush him in a minute, which I'll try to help out with.
So we
by
just kind of
mining.
coat those in mines.
Yeah.
Toss as many mines as we can.
I can toss remote mines up to the one he's facing now. I can't really see.
And that's
the
usually
other
where
side.
they come through.
Yeah.
The other side, there's usually 1 or 2 guys, but they get taken out by my proxies, generally speaking. I set off an EMP right before I go to the rail, because the rail is another one of those machines that just isn't affected by EMPs for whatever reason. It's for Archer to hotwire it, and then I climb right down.
I just throw a proxy mine down there to take out all 3 guards coming through the door, and we are clear. And I forgot I had
Or
to
you
switch over.
switch back to the
Yeah, this is where I switch back
EMP
to
grenades.
Yeah, because I found that proxy mines have a habit of falling through walls in this level, which is not a very desirable glitch.
Yeah, I think you'll see that on my screen in the last section of this court mission here. Basically, there's, let's see, how many rooms are there? There's 7, I think,
I'm not sure.
rooms
I haven't counted.
that we have to go through
At
and
least
hit these
5.
buttons at the end of. And each of them, you basically have to clear out the enemies. You have to do it as fast as you can before the EMP gets there, basically, so you don't
Yeah.
waste any time.
Yeah. It's almost encouraging you to speedrun.
Yeah. So there's big rooms, and then there's these little hallways. I think
Yeah.
between all of them, there's 7 total. There's 4 of the big rooms and 3 of the hallways.
Yeah,
I
the
wanna
big
say.
rooms are kind of annoying. The hallways are kind of cute and a bit of a respite, but they're quick. Gotta be quick. This is
These
kinda
rooms,
more
the EMP
open.
moves a lot slower, so we basically try to take out all of the enemies
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. A lot of
instance-
mines on guys that are grouped.
Yeah. When they cluster,
Those
it's...
going in there. And a few mark and executes, because to punch these guys anyway, it makes sense to refresh the mark and execute.
Yeah.
Okay, Castro.
Panel accessed. Waiting for you.
The only section where we're kind of split up a lot, because you stay on your side and I stay on my side for pretty much the entire section.
Yeah.
We can still see each other, so
Yeah.
we can get to each other if one of us gets grabbed or one of us gets knocked down.
Yeah, which thankfully doesn't happen a lot.
Warhead's progressing to anchor.
It's really not great to
Or
be on world
mostly
record
down
pace and
outside.
have it happen here, you know. So this is a section where the grenades often go through walls. I couldn't even throw it at that point, so I just
haven't
panicked.
usually had issues with the remote mines, but I frequently detonate the remote mines when they're in the air anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, so I
mines are just, you
typically...
can just set them off whenever, and you can take out whole groups of guys really easily if you just set them off as soon as they get there instead of waiting for them to hit a wall.
Right. That's what I've switched to doing for that section, which is why I actually really enjoy the EMP grenades for just getting me into position safely.
Thanks, Macro.
At one point I picked up the AK again because at this point I'm not sniping anybody and all these guys have AKs.
Yeah.
So it means I don't have to worry about ammo and I can just shoot the guys right up against me really easy.
Daka, daka, daka. Oh.
Oh, that guy just kind of flew over that railing.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Enemy physics are a bit screwy.
Yeah.
But just the right dials of the bodies. At this point, there's a little group of guys that comes up behind us. MP through a wall here. Or a proxy mine.
Oh, yep. There it was. Right through the wall.
That one just went straight through a wall. I think
Yeah.
another one goes through the floor here. Yeah.
Yeah, you need the lens of truth to find that.
So,
Panel access. Waiting for you.
Tried to activate door,
Oh.
ran up wall.
I failed to activate the button, climbed up the wall. Much of a time save, but it's an extremely frustrating.
It is.
I want to say there.
It's a problem in Blacklist as well. So I know Blacklist runners have been equally frustrated with that.
We're also getting indications that the base's surviving security troops are gathering a few hundred meters from the hangar.
This is our last dual breach. There's nobody on the other side right now, so we don't need to mark anybody. It just activates a cutscene.
Yeah.
Over here. Come on.
And what usually
This is our friend
happens,
Colvin.
You took your goddamn
He's a
time
jerk.
getting here. Another 10 seconds.
usually the person that initiates the door breach is closer to Coben here, and thus in front when we start. So we try to have that be him, because we just have it down this way, where he uses his EMPs first to get us to this room we need to go to.
There's one last dual EMP in the floor section up here.
Yeah.
So I EMP once at the bottom on the door to try to take out the guys, and then start setting up the dual EMP.
EMP grenades won't finish.
Once, I think it was just once, we had a run ruined by the tank down there shooting us.
Yeah.
How that happened. Because
Yeah.
it usually shoots up, but it never hits us.
So
What
here,
we have to do is get on the plane and raise the ramp. So
Yeah,
he's just gonna throw a bunch of EMPs.
sometimes it's just not
Avoid the
work out.
guys.
Sometimes they just will,
Once,
Wreck one of
once in a
us.
little while,
which
we'll
is
get
of course
grabbed or something.
the worst place for it to happen, because it does not checkpoint at the EMP. You have to do the whole thing over again if you game over. So
Which I think we lost world record on.
we definitely
Probably.
lost it once or twice on that. Yeah.
I definitely remember one where I got shot out of the.
The EMP or the raise ramp.
Raising the ramp, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens.
So this is the last level of the game, if you can even call it that.
You can't.
Archer gets orders to kill Kestrel, which Kestrel intercepts because apparently Third Echelon does not encrypt their messages.
You just put it on a giant
In text over
yeah.
your phone.
Yeah. So here it
So-
is. End split end game.
Kill him, and that's game.
Yeah. So that's our current world record by beating our previous one by 4 seconds. Hallelujah.
Time is currently about 40 seconds behind us, but he always finds a way to crawl right back into it.
Yeah, it's been a really good
He had
friendly
world record
competition.
until last week, so
Yeah. We keep going neck and neck on it. I like it. So yeah, that's
side effect of Tungle, that you get game just kind of crashes after the end.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think it's, what did we decide? It desyncs at that point.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happens. I know that if I force quit it fast enough, then you're able to return to lobby, but I rarely do, especially if we world record. But yeah,
Yep, that's game.
that's Splinter Cell Conviction Co-op right there, and all of its ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's a fun little run.
Yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this commentary, and hopefully we'll beat that 3720 sometime, eventually. one day. All right.
Antonio will.
Yeah, he will.